Hi guys, and welcome back to today's class. We are continuing on the topic consumer arithmetic, and today we are going to be covering profit and loss. When items are sold, the sale usually results in a profit or a loss to the owner. So when you go to a store to purchase either food, clothes, electronics, the persons that are selling usually sell to make a profit. If the item is sold for more than what it was purchased, a profit was made. So your store owner would sell you this item for more than what they bought it for. However, if the item was sold for less than it was purchased, the owner or salesperson would have incurred a loss. And sometimes this happens like when stores decide to sell damaged goods. If a profit was made, the amount made can be calculated as follows. Profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. And in terms of a formula that is used, you will see it written as SP to represent selling price and CP to represent cost price. So the formula would be profit is equal to SP minus CP. If we wanted to calculate this as a percentage, then profit percent is equal to the profit that was made over the cost price times 100. As a formula, profit percent is equal to SP minus CP over CP times 100. And of course, this SP and CP represents the selling price and the cost price as shown above. So for a profit to be made, the selling price that is to be determined is going to be equal to the cost price plus the profit that was made. If the sale was at a loss, the amount made can be calculated as follows. The loss is going to be equal to the cost price minus the selling price. So as a formula, loss is equal to CP minus SP. And persons who are selling sometimes sell at a loss because they just want to get rid of the item. And for them, it is better to make some money than no money. For example, a furniture store might sell a piece of furniture that is damaged and they sell it for a price that is lower and may at that point incur a loss. Similarly, for motor cars are generally sold at a value that is less than what it is purchased for because at times motor cars devalue or lose value the longer you keep them. If we want to calculate the loss as a percentage, loss percent is equal to the loss over cost price times 100. Loss percent as a formula is therefore equal to CP minus SP over CP times 100. So when a loss happens, the selling price is equal to the cost price minus the loss that was incurred. So let's look at two examples. We have a shopkeeper selling cricket balls. And in the second example, we have a businesswoman who bought a stove. And in both examples, we will look at how we calculate profit or loss percentages. So let's take the first example. A shopkeeper buys 25 cricket balls at a total cost of $150. He sells them for $8 each in part A, and we are asked to determine what his percentage profit was. So when you're doing a math question, the first thing that you do is write out the information that you have. So for us, the information that we have is that this store owner bought 25 cricket balls at $150. So that $150 represents the cost price or CP for 25 balls. In part A, we're told that he sells each of them for $8. So therefore, the selling price, which is SP, is going to be equal to $8 each. We therefore need to find out what the selling price for all 25 balls is going to be. So the selling price for 25 balls is going to be equal to 25 times the $8. And that works out to be $200. So now we have the selling price and we have the cost price. So we can determine what the percentage profit is. Now there are two methods to doing this. In the first method, we will find out what the profit is. So profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. And in our case, the selling price was $200 minus the cost price, which was $150. And this is equal to $50. So when he sold each ball at $8 each, he made a profit of $50. So what is that as a percentage? The profit percent is equal to the profit over the cost price times 100. So for us, that is the profit of $50. So that's going to be 50 over our cost price of 150. Just realize that we forgot to put in what our cost price is here. So 50 over 150 multiplied by 100, that gives us 50 into itself goes 1 and into 150 goes 3 times. So we are left with 100 over 3, which is equal to 33 and a third, and this is a percent. So when he sold the balls at $8 each, he made a profit of 33 and 1/3%. Now there's another way that we could do this. Let's explore that. So again, we write the information that we have. The cost price for 25 balls being equal to $150. And in part A, we are looking at selling price is equal to $8 each. And we had worked that to be equal to 8 times 25, which is equal to $250. Sorry, $200. So we can use the formula in its entirety, and that formula is profit percentage equal to selling price minus cost price over cost price times 100. So what that looks like is selling price, we just calculated that as $200. That's going to be 200 minus cost price, which is $150, divided by cost price, which is 150 times 100. So that gives us 50 over 150 times 100. 50 into itself goes 1 time, and into 150 goes 3 times. So here you notice we still end up with the 1 over 3, or 33 and 1/3%. Let's have a look at the second question, part B. In part B, he sells them for $5 each, and we are to determine what his percentage loss is. So again, we write out the information that we have. So we know that the cost price was equal to $150. So at $5 each, the selling price is going to be equal to 5 times the number of balls, which is 25. And that is equal to $125. And for us, we know that loss percent is equal to cost price minus selling price over cost price times 100. So that is equal to cost price, which was $150, minus the selling price, which we just calculated to be $125, over cost price, which is 150 times 100. And that gives us 150 minus 125 is going to leave us with $25 over 150 times 100. 25 goes into itself 1 and into 150 6 times. So that is going to give us 100 over 6. So therefore, his loss percent is equal to 100 divided by 6, written as a mixed fraction, is going to give us 16 and 2/3% as the loss. Again, we could have done the alternate method where we calculated what the loss was first and then express that as a percentage. So we have the CP being equal to $150, and we know from before that the SP was calculated to be $125. So the loss is equal to the CP minus the SP, and that is going to be 150 minus 125, which gives us $25. So therefore, the loss percent is equal to the loss over the cost price times 100. And that is equal to our loss of 25 over the cost price of 150 times 100. 25 into itself once, into 150 6 times, so that still gives us back the 100 over 6, or 16 and 2/3%. So again, the loss incurred, or the loss percentage, is equal to 16 and 2/3%. So those are two methods that you can use to calculate loss or profit percent. So you use the method that is more comfortable to you. In the second example, we have a businesswoman who bought a stove for $1,209. And we are to calculate the selling price of the stove if she made a profit of 11%. So again, the first thing that we will do is write the information that we have. The information that we have is that she bought the stove for $1,209. So that 1,209 represents our cost price. So cost price, or CP, is equal to 1,209. The profit that was made is 11%. So we'll write that information down. So we can actually, to find the selling price, we need to determine what the dollar value for this 11% profit that was made. And we do that by finding 11% of the cost price. So the profit that was made is going to be equal to 11% times your cost price. That is equal to 11 over 100 times our cost price of 1,209. And that is equal to from your calculators, that will give you $132.99. So on this sale, to make an 11% profit, the dollar value or the dollar value assigned to that profit is $132.99. So she made $132.99. So in order for her to make that profit, the selling price must be equal to the cost price plus the profit. So that is equal to the cost price of 1,209 plus the profit of 132.99. And that is equal to $1,341.99. So if she made a profit of 11%, it means that she sold the stove for $1,341.99. Now in part B, the stove was damaged in transporting to the customer. Determine the selling price of the stove if she incurred a loss of 8% of the cost price. So again, you write the information that you have. So we know that the cost price of the stove was $1,209. And now we are told that she made a loss or she had a loss percent of 8. So it means that she decided to settle this situation with the customer and sell the customer the stove for a price that was less than the cost price because the stove got damaged in transport. So we need to calculate the selling price or how much the customer actually paid for the stove after she would have made this 8% loss. So we need to find the dollar value of this 8% loss. So the loss is equal to 8% of 1,209. So that's going to be 1,209 and 9 times 8 over 100. And that is equal to, in terms of dollars, $96.72. So that is the loss that she made. So it therefore means the selling price to the customer is going to be equal to the cost price minus the loss. So this is equal to, cost price was 1,209 minus the loss of $96.72. And this is going to give us, from your calculator, $1,112, sorry, and 28 cents. That is how you will calculate profit and loss as a dollar figure or as a percentage. See you next time where we cover another topic from the Csec syllabus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to learn more